Well, we've heard a lot about the iPhone. It seems that all I ever talk about is the iPhone. Well, we're going to talk some more about it today. We've got Jack Kapica on the line from the Globe and Mail. How you doing, Jack?
Hey, Mike. Fine, thank you.
So I've actually been able to play with the iPhone. A lot of friends I know have actually got hacked ones, and they're using them up here on the Rogers network. But why haven't the iPhones officially come into Canada yet?
Simply because if it does, and Rogers is the only company that can bring it into the country, it will cost us so much money to use this. Aside from the $400 that you'll have to spend on buying the actual iPhone, you're going to have to spend minimum of $300 a month just to use it at its minimum. I've seen figures that come up to about 10 times that per month charges, and Rogers can't exactly sit back and say, okay, for $10,000 a year, you can have the iPhone, no problem. You can't do that.
You're referring to the data plan down in the U.S. AT&T. They actually have a few different ones, but I think the highest one is around $100 a month, but that's unlimited data.
That's right, and now that's data without voice. In the States, they kind of separate the two out, and in Canada, the data rates are so high. And they've been getting away with it because nobody's been complaining. I don't know how many complaints you've been receiving, but I've only been receiving a few. And when I see the actual numbers, they freak me right out because we're paying 3 to 10 times more for our data than the Americans are, which means that all our cell phone providers, including Bell and TELUS and Rogers and Bell Alliant and whoever else is out there, are just raking the money in on the data rates. Now, in order to, what Apple created is a phone that really sucks up the data bandwidth. It really needs a lot of data to run, including constant updates and security updates and so on and so forth. And if you're just going to be downloading those, you're going to be blowing whatever limits we have set here. So in short, what's going to have to happen is that Rogers is going to have to lower its data rate. And they're not quite ready to lower it so much to make the iPhone happy, or to make the iPhone marketable in Canada.
Well, I can see a huge repercussion from them. If they lower the data rates, that will take a big hit on their bottom line because all the BlackBerries and all the other smartphones that are out there, they'll have to lower the rates for them as well.
Exactly. Now, what's happened recently is that Bell Canada has lowered its data rate plan to, $75 a month. Now, this data rate plan does not apply to your cell phone. It applies primarily to that little card that you put in your laptop computer that acts as a modem via the cell phone connection, right? So the CDMA cell phone is like built into this card, and you can dial it through your computer and get for $75 a month all the data you can inhale, which is a reasonable thing to do. So Bell is actually quite consciously cutting that price in order to force Rogers to lower its price. You see what I mean? It's what they called it to me on the phone when I spoke to them the other day, that this low price for the data rate is a precursor to the iPhone in Canada.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see what they do. It's kind of a catch-22 for them. Obviously, there's a huge demand for the iPhone up here in Canada, but at the same time, they don't want to kill the other side of their business.
That's right. I mean, it's purely a marketing decision. They have to sit back and decide, is it worth their while to cut their data rates, at Rogers I mean? Will enough people buy the iPhone? If they do, and if they don't cut the data rates and say no to the iPhone, it's all in their hands because they're the only GSM service provider available. Then if they say no to the iPhone, that means they keep raking in the money on the data rates. It's kind of a bad thing. The more bad publicity they're going to get on this, I think the more heat they're going to feel, and the more heat they feel, the more pressure is going to be applied downward on their data rates.
Well, we'll have to wait and see what happens. Thanks again for joining us, Jack.
Thanks, Mike.
Jack Kapica from the Globe and Mail. You can check out more of his writings at globetechnology.com.